Hi there grade 10s and welcome to your practical prep video with myself, Mr. H. Now today we're going to go through some of the items that you need to know for your practical prep, and I can't with the grade 10s and 11s always share on my screen different papers and things like that because it might it might be a paper or a portion of a paper that might be used somewhere else, so not keen on that kind of drama. Okay. So I'm going to tell you some of the things that you need to know, some of the skills that you need to be able to exhibit when it comes to your practical prep. And we're going to look at Word and Excel. Word and Excel for grade 10 is the bulk of what you are going to be doing. Now, some of you might still be doing PowerPoint, and there's a couple of things there, but I'm going to focus on Word and Excel. My top tip for you is this: read the question. Okay, it sounds like something simple. It sounds like, oh, Mr. Hambury, what are you saying? But if you're not going to be reading, then you're not going to understand what it's asking of you, and you're not going to be able to exhibit these skills. Okay, so let's look at Word. Now, in Microsoft Word, some of the basic things you need to know, and there's always three basics. It's the page size, the orientation, and the margins. Those are things that get asked all the time, grade 10, 11, and 12. So nowhere to go to. Also, being able to adjust the page or change the page color, add in a page border. Remember, we go to our borders and shading for those things. Find and replace. So finding certain words, replacing it maybe with a capital letter that's in the word, or maybe replacing computer with PC, and replacing all occurrences of that. So you want to be able to do that. Your drop caps. That's something that comes up often. Your paragraph and line spacing is there all the time. So paragraph formatting, paragraph spacing, line spacing within the paragraph, spacing before and after the paragraph, and then your indents and all of those go with that as well. So you need to know how to do that. Word art, okay, converting text to word art, inserting tab stops. And by the way, there are videos for all of these things on the channel, so you just search this and you'll find these videos. Text boxes. Now, when we talk about this, we're saying that you are going to be required to insert a text box. Maybe there's a picture and they want you to insert a text box underneath with text in it, format the text, things like that. Also watermarks. Now, these can be the default watermarks that you get or your custom watermarks. So be able to do both. Styles. At this stage of the game, it's just applying styles, using styles. In grade 11, we get to modifying styles. Then paragraph borders. So again, this goes back to paragraph formatting. Smart art. Be able to insert and modify smart art. Bullet lists. Okay? Not just inserting the bullet lists or making the bullet list, but changing those bullets to symbols or pictures, changing the level as well. Then a common one that comes up is having a paragraph of text with a picture in the paragraph. Okay, and I might have something up on the screen here. So that's something that comes up often, and using the wrap text feature. Tables and modifying your tables. Then a common one that I saw that comes up often is the N dash and converting it, or not converting, replacing it with an M dash. Okay, so in other words, you need to find and replace. Cropping images that are there and changing or adjusting images to an exact size. That's something that comes up as well. Shading columns, correct spelling, so running a spell check. And then automatic page numbering. And they'll usually tell you where they want that to be placed. Bottom of the page, in the header, wherever. Also, remember when we format pictures to an exact height and width, you need to go into the settings, into the dialog box there, or the advanced settings there, and actually take the tick out of lock aspect ratio. Okay. And then the only other thing I can really think of in Word is hyperlinks. So being able to create a hyperlink in a document. Right. Now Excel. Now I can't guarantee you exactly the formulas that are going to come up in Excel. Okay, because that's usually the biggest part of any Excel section or paper. But your basics, min, max, sum, average, changing the formatting of a cell so that the 0 in a cell phone number displays, and then ignoring the error. Because once we convert that cell to text, we go format cells, we choose text, we still need to type in the 0, but then there's a little green arrow that appears. And so we need to ignore that error to get that green arrow gone. So just bear that in mind. Your normal BODMAS calculations, so things like you need to add something and then multiply the answer, know where to put your brackets, those type of things. Count A, count blank, always going to come up. Large, small, and then please, the biggest thing in Excel, and I'm going to say this to the grade 11s as well, building blocks. Many of you should see in the practical papers, and I'm not saying it's always there, but there's usually a section on the side that says building blocks. So if you've been asked to do two things in a formula, maybe like round average, if you're not sure how to do it, you can go to the building block section and actually type in, the average formula and then the round formula. And you'll still get some of the marks. You're not going to get all of the marks, but you'll get some of them. And let's be honest, 2 out of the 3 marks or 3 out of the 4, I'll take that. Some of the other formatting, things like merging and centering cells, deleting columns, unhiding and hiding columns, adjusting row heights, things like that. Formatting dates, so for the date to appear not just as 14 Feb 2025, but 14 February 25, or things like that. So they'll usually tell you what they want. Renaming sheets, recoloring the tabs, and then aligning text inside of a cell, both vertically and horizontally. Okay. Sorting data, putting items in the header, sometimes formatting those headings, shading them. The text direction as well. I mean, going like diagonally is a very common one that comes up. Grid lines, showing the actual grid lines, printing the grid lines, not that you're going to print anything. In Excel, I know they often ask about inserting your name into the header. So, go to the bottom right-hand corner, there's a section there where you can change the layout, go into the header, and then you can insert that. And then the last one is really on graphs. So in grade 10, you're going to look at inserting a graph, or they'll give you one and ask you to modify it. And you're going to do basic things like the chart title, axis title, data labels, the legend, things like that. Maybe adding a color to it, background color, removing the grid lines, things like that. So familiarize yourself with that. In grade 10s, that's really the skills that you need to be able to exhibit, be able to produce when it comes to your upcoming June prac paper. If you combine the skills you have and the ability to read and think critically in terms of what they're telling you to, and please just follow the instructions, right? Just follow the instructions. You will be fine, okay? The theory paper is something else completely, but for the prac paper, this should help you make sure you've got all the skills necessary to get that 80% and above. God bless and good luck with the exams.